What's good, y'all? It's your boy Bible Sparta 3.0, keeping the action going with our first NECA review for the channel. Yes, sir. We are looking today at the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Ezio Auditore figure. Hopefully, I pronounced his name right. I haven't played Assassin's Creed in years, so I know his first name is Ezio. As far as his last name, I'm not sure if I said that right. So, for those of you that know how to pronounce it, I apologize if I butchered it right now. But I think it's Auditore, something like that, right? But anyways, yeah, we are looking at the figure today from the Brotherhood game, and yeah, Assassin's Creed, man, man, this figure takes me back. I never like owned any of the games, but I remember my cousins did, and I remember back in the day, like in like high school, probably playing this game like at my grandma's house with my cousins. I think they had it on like the PS3, and like we used to play it a little bit. Yeah, it was a good time, man. I was always a fan of the Assassin's Creed design, and you know, Ezio is, of course, the main man. You know. Sorry, I got this annoying ad in the background. My bad, guys. But anyways, yeah, Ezio is the main man. And I know there are like there's different assassins like within this whole like assassins universe, but he's the one that I am the most familiar with. He's the one that I always played as, and I remember even back in high school there was a kind of like a game shack over by one of the movie theaters I used to go to, and I'm pretty sure it's closed down now, which is unfortunate because it was really cool. But back in the days, there was this place called Howie's Game Shack, and they were basically like this huge, shack, right, of full of just like PCs and different consoles like PS, PlayStations, Xbox, and you could like rent out controllers for a certain amount of time and just play games, and it was like the coolest thing back in the day. And unfortunately, I don't think it's in business anymore because every time I pass by there now, I notice that it looks pretty dark. I never see anyone going in there, and it's still standing, but like I don't see like any officially closed or anything like that. Signs on the windows or anything. But I'm like 99% sure it's it's not really a thing anymore, especially now with the digital age and the fact that you can just game online, or a lot of people have PCs, at their house, so they don't really need to like go to a place like that to play games. But it was really cool back in the day. It just shows you like how fast times change, man. Like that was around. I mean, I graduated. I mean, I used to go there like around like I would say like 2012, 2014. I was in high school, right? So about like a little over a decade later, obviously, like that place kind of doesn't exist. But I'm getting off topic. But I'm just trying to make a point about how fast things can change, and 10 years is obviously a long time, but to me it seems like just yesterday that I was there playing games. But anyways, back to this guy. Sorry for going off topic there. Assassin's Creed, yeah, we got a really cool package here. I really like the packaging for this. I knew I was gonna start collecting NECA figures at some point, but I just didn't know what my first figure was going to be from them. And I happened to see this guy at my local Target one day. I was looking at the collector section, and he was like the only one on the shelf, and I think he was like kind of hidden behind some other boxes. But I found him and I pulled him out, and I was looking at him. I was like, yo, this looks freaking awesome. And it was like, as far as I could tell, it was the only one on the shelf. So I don't know if he was a one-off or what, but I decided to go ahead and grab him. And yeah, I really like the packaging here. We got this awesome Assassin's Creed Brotherhood kind of artwork for the game at the bottom. Very nice window, so you can see the figure inside, and you can even see like there's some looks like there's like a cardboard kind of like artwork background inside of there. I'm guessing you can pull that out and maybe make like a little diorama for your display. And then on this side of the box we have again, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, a Ubisoft original. So yeah, I guess this is a figure by I think Ubisoft makes the game. I'm not sure if they had any like collaborations with making the figure, but maybe so. Maybe they collaborated with NECA. I'm not sure. But yeah, there you go. Another nice picture of the figure on the side. Ezio Auditore, legendary assassin. Coming around to the back of the box, we have some more product shots. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Ubisoft original, NECA. I really like this photo up top. This looks really cool. Definitely reminds me of the game. He's got like the two little dagger spear things coming down like with his hands out. That's really cool. And then in the middle it says, I have always fought alone. but one man cannot defeat the entire Templar order. So I have recruited my fellow assassins. Together we will cleanse the corruption from the holy city of Rome. Together we will forge the Brotherhood. So there you go. I guess that is Ezio's little, mission statement, if you will. That is his ultimate mission. So forming the Brotherhood with all these assassins. You can see it down at the bottom here. Maybe you can't see, but at the bottom it does say includes Captain's Sword, Hidden Blades, Crossbow, and interchangeable heads and hands. So yeah, he actually does come with quite a few accessories, which I am excited to take a look at. And the other side of the box, we got another cool product shot. Same stuff. Top of the box says ages 17 and up right here on the corner. So this is clearly an adult collectible. Definitely not intended for kids, but I mean, I guess if you wanted to, you could get it for, your kid. Bottom of the box, we got the barcode. Got a little hologram sticker thing. I'm not sure if this is of any importance, but if so, I will put it in the description. Do a little research. NECA, yeah, all that stuff on the bottom. Product development, Randy Falk. Okay, this is cool. See, I like this. This is one of those figures that actually kind of breaks down, who worked on the figure. So I'm not going to go through the whole list, but actually, what the heck? I guess I'll go through it. Product development says Randy Falk. The sculpt for this figure was done by Oh, that is a hard name. I know I'm going to butcher that, but DeJorge Djokovic or something. I'm not sure. I'd probably butcher that so bad, but hopefully you guys can see those names on the bottom there. Fabrication by Brad Haskins and Thomas Gwynn. The paint was done by John Wardell, Jeff Trapp, and Karen Simeone. Prototypes, TrueCast Studios. Packaging by Chris Longo. Shout outs to Chris Longo because this is some excellent packaging, my guy. I really, really like it. So shout outs to you. Shout outs to everybody that worked on this figure. This figure looks amazing, but yeah, I really like the packaging for it. And then photography by Steven Mazurek. All right, so there we go. Without further ado, let's get into this unboxing and review. This guy looks pretty freaking cool, man. Now, one thing that I do know about NECA is they're typically not too big on articulation. They articulate, they're definitely articulated figures, but I know that they tend to focus more on sculpt than articulation. So I'm gonna, be a little easy on this guy when it comes to the articulation for the clean figurine scale. For that section, I'm not gonna be too harsh on him because I know that NECA doesn't tend to focus on articulation over sculpt. Their main focus tends to be with the sculpt, as far as I've seen, in NECA reviews. So I'm going to be a little bit lenient as far as the articulation section on this guy, but I am still going to give him a rating, of course, because I want him obviously to be able to at least achieve some poses. Being an assassin, he should be able to at least, pose around decently well. So we're gonna see just how much of that he can actually do. But getting him out the package here, I gotta say I really like the feel of him. He's got a nice weight. Kind of feels like a McFarlane figure, similar type of like feel as far as like the texture and paint. But here he is. I'm gonna stand him up and see if he stands out the packaging. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's get him a little more centered here. There we go. All right, let's get some light on the boy. Looking damn good. All right, and we'll get out the accessories so we can run through those real quick. Wow, interesting packaging. The way they actually package some of these accessories, really cool. So first I'm gonna go ahead and pull out his sword, which looks really, really nice, I gotta say. He's got his 2 hidden blades that we saw on the back of the packaging. I really hope I don't lose these because these are kind of small pieces. If anything, I might have to keep them in the box just to make sure I don't lose them until I get ready for them, but here we go. Alright, we've got our alternate head sculpt here, which looks pretty amazing. I like that. Set that aside. And we've got alternate hands. So I'm going to pull out this one. this one. Got this one right here. And this one right here. And lastly, this one right here. All right. So there we go. Packaging aside. So let's get one quick 360 look. I keep forgetting my display stand. You know what? I'll be right back, guys. I can't afford to not put this guy on the display stand. I'll be right back. And we are back. Had to get my display stand. Okay. Could not afford to not have this guy on the display stand. Being the first NECA figure in my collection. First one we take a look at. Definitely had to pull out the display stand for this guy. So I'll have him on there a little bit later in the review. But just getting a quick, you know what, this is probably the perfect time. Matter of fact, I think going forward I'm going to do this from now on. So just so that we get a quick 360 of him, I'll put him right onto the display stand to make it easy, instead of awkwardly spinning him with my hands. And here we go. Here's our first 360. Just so you get a nice full view of the figure, front to back and side to side. And I think he looks really, really awesome, man. Very, very nice. I love seeing him go around the turntable here. Very, very nice details front to back. So that looks really, really good. So there's your 360 view real quick. Oh, let me get a little reversal real quick. All right, so we're gonna move him aside for just a second and get into all of his accessories. So I'm gonna, matter of fact, yeah, I'll just put each of the accessories on the table and we'll go through them that way. I think that'll work well. So I'll put them, ooh, hit my camera, my bad. Put them one by one on here. All right. So first thing that we will take a look at is the hands. We'll do the hands and then we'll move to the weapons. Sound good? All right, so here we go. So first up, we have a nice open palm hand, and these look to be the ones that were on the back of the packaging that he uses for the hidden blades that kind of slide down from his sleeves. So that's really cool. Very, very nice detail on these. Look at that. Check out that paintwork. Very, very nice. You can see like, even like, kind of like some of those lines in his hands. I want to say some of those are scars and not just like the natural lines from like, you know, the palm of your hand or like the inside of your hand. I think he might actually have like some scarring on his hands, which is a really cool touch. And then you look at the top of the hand right here, you can see some veins actually going through the skin tone there, which looks really cool. Like a little vein kind of running across the knuckle there. That looks really, really nice. Nice skin tone, not too glossy, mostly matte finish. It's got like maybe a slight shine to it, but it actually looks like, you know, human skin, like a flesh tone type of you know, color. So that I really like that. The fingernails are not painted. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think overall it looks all right though. I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, you got that. You got that first open palm hand, and then you've got one for the other side right here. So pretty much the same thing. Not much of a difference, not too much to show off that's any different, but yeah, you got two of those type of hands right there. You have a slightly kind of open hand, maybe like he's like about to grip something, or I don't think it's really a gesture hand or anything, but you got this like slightly open hand, kind of curling the fingers in, but also looks very good. I like the paint for the skin tone, and everything looks really, really good, really solid. So yeah, very similar to that first set of hands. Nice sculpt on those. And then we have these right here. You got a thumbs up hand where he's kind of like, he's not quite making a fist, but he is curling his fingers in. And then he has the thumb sticking out. I mean, this might be to hold the sword or something like that, or the crossbow, probably the sword. But yeah, it looks really, really good. Nice, again, flesh tone on that. Nice details, nice sculpt. So yeah, there you go for that one. And then you have a almost completely closed hand. Another one like this. Slightly more closed than that other one, that previous one that we showed. Almost making like a C with his hands. But yeah, that looks really, really cool. Again, very nice details. So there you go. So that's all his hands. First up was, as far as weapons, I guess we'll look at the face real quick. Here is the alternate head sculpt that he comes with. I think this looks pretty good. Again, very nice skin tone for the face, not too glossy. Mostly matte finish. It looks really good. They did a really nice attention to detail. One small thing that I noticed even in the store when he was in the packaging, I thought this was a paint mishap at first, but it's actually accurate to I guess the game and his design. You can see right here, this little like scar that runs through the middle of his mustache. It actually matches the box art. So I guess that's a detail that he actually has, and I really like that attention that they put that into the figure. It looks really good. So yeah, very nice paintwork for the facial hair, and even, you know, the regular hair on his head. Very nice. Look at the bottom, turning around to the back. Really nice paint for the hair going in the back, and we've got the red tie, kind of little tie bandana thing running down with his hair tied in the ponytail. A little bit of a paint mishap here. Got some red paint in the little ponytail, this part of his hair. A little bit of a mishap there, but not too bad. And got the red tie going down. So yeah, very nice, solid looking head sculpt. Then we have the crossbow, first weapon to look at. We got a nice bronze color at the top here. I really like this kind of metallic looking bronze color for the top, and we got some details etched into there. And then we have a nice dark brown for the wooden part of the crossbow with some silver highlights. Got some silver paint, possibly some dry brushing in there too, so that looks really good. Helps bring out those you know, tiny details. Really good. Definitely gives it a kind of a worn type of feeling to it. Got some more silver paint back here on the you know, the part that he holds towards the back. Coming around, got some more silver details going up. See, and silver going in here, lining the back. So yeah, that looks really good. So there is the crossbow. Then we of course get his little hidden blades. So he gets two of these hidden blades, and they're basically just kind of like mini spears or daggers. Consistent as far as like the length and the width throughout, but yeah, very nice silver paint. Got a little bit of I think wash in there, a little bit of details etched in, but these look really nice. So you get two of those for each side, each of his hands. And last but not least, you get the sword, which looks really cool. Very nice assassin sword. Kind of reminds me of like a pirate sword or something, but really like the silver paint for the blade. You got the goldish bronze color for the on the hilt, and then a brown wrapping for the handle, and then some gold at the bottom there. Really nice. I love this design, this kind of like gold piece wrapping around the blade as it goes up. It's a really cool look. And the outside is very nice. So there is a look at his sword. So all the weapons out of the way. Let's see. We'll go ahead and rate the accessories section. I'd say that's a pretty good spread of accessories. He's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Am I missing a hand here? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I guess not. So he's got 5 extra alternate hands. He's got a crossbow, a sword, 2 daggers, you know, hidden blades, and an extra head. So I think that's a pretty good spread of accessories. So Uh, I don't think he necessarily needs a stand because it seems like he stands pretty well, but maybe a stand might have been nice if you want to have him like standing up on display and you're kind of afraid that he's gonna fall, but I don't think he necessarily needs one. But for accessories, I'm gonna give it like a 9 out of 10. I think that's a really nice spread of accessories. So he's gonna get a 9 there. And now we'll move on to the aesthetic. So let's get a closer look at the figure himself. I'm gonna move the accessories out the way. Move all of these to the side. Put these over here. And there he is back on the, actually, I'm gonna move the turntable aside for a second. Bring him in close, get some focus. Really nice details on this. I really like how NECA handles their figures, how much, focus and they put into detail and sculpt on their figures. This is really nice. I mean, all the paint work is immaculate here. I mean, I really like this kind of like whitish gray, kind of like faded off-white color for his robe and like the overall like suit that he's wearing, and then this kind of silvery, almost even got like a hint of like brown. This buckle part right here that holds up like his belt. Then you got the big wide like red wrap that goes around right here on his waist. And you got like all these little pouches and like hidden blades on the side right here on his waist, which look really cool. Those are all molded and sculpted in, so you can't actually like pull those out and use them. But just design wise, those look really good. I really like how that looks. The aesthetic of that. Very nicely done. So you got that on both sides. Move his arm out the way. So you can see that. That looks really good. I like this this kind of wrap going around for the chest. You got like this kind of, I guess, armor piece or whatever right here. Very similar, same type of color as this thing on his waist down here. Even a little bit of a red paint right there for like a little red dot. But yeah, that looks really good. All these like intricate details, like look how much detail is etched into that. It's amazing, man. That is mind blowing. Just how much detail they were able to sculpt or digitally print into that. Very nicely done. And then even in here, this kind of like dirty whitish yellow color for the for this little collar piece, like the zipper kind of going down up into the collar around his face. And then of course you have the hood, which is very nicely sculpted and painted. The details, and I love how the center of the hood actually comes down in front of his face and kind of blocks, like his eyes. So when you're looking at him dead on, you can't see the eyes very well, which matches the game and the artwork really well. You kind of get like a shadow over his eyes, so all you really see is like, his nose and the rest of his face. But it's hard to like tell who he is when you're looking dead on. But obviously if you lean him up a little more, you can actually see that he does have a full face in there. You get a little bit of light so you can see his eyes in there and everything. Very cool. Coming to the back, got some more of that really nice kind of textured detail going into like this little almost like cape part that hangs on the side, and you can see it's like connected under the little armor piece that wraps over his shoulder. And yeah, just coming back, like look at those details, man. Amazing. Really amazing. I love the amount of detail. You can definitely tell this is like a high-end collectible when you look at it. Definitely not your average kid's toy. They definitely put a lot of work into the sculpt of this guy. And yeah, it turned out really nice. Some more red over here. And just, the wrinkles and the wrap, this part that's kind of draping down in the back looks really good. We got some silver paint for the buckles. And then some more. I really like this kind of pattern that wraps around, his back, the shoulders right here. It's kind of like layered in pieces. You can see you got like 3 separate layers right here. Got some little pieces wrapping around the arm. Silver gauntlet with a bunch of detail in there. Look at that. Look at that design. Looks like maybe a bird or something with wings. All up in the silver part of his gauntlet. That looks really cool. And then the yellowish white color again for this piece coming underneath the gauntlet right there, wrapping around his fist, which looks really, really good. But yeah, this is an amazingly detailed figure, highly detailed. I mean, I expect nothing less from NECA because they're known for their sculpt and detail. So yeah, very, very nice. So as far as the aesthetic, I'm gonna go ahead and give him, I mean, they made like a slight paint mishap on that alternate head, but as far as like the figure itself, we're not really talking about the alternate head. The alternate head kind of goes with the accessory. So as far as like the figure itself, I don't really see, I'm looking at it closer up. There's like a slight fuzziness in the paint on mine. Like I just found like right here towards the edge of the red wrap that goes around his waist, you can kind of see a little bit of like bleeding, or it might not show up too well on camera, but there is like a little bit of bleeding down here, and like a little bit of a fading of the red paint. But it's very like hard to notice until you get up close. So I mean, other than that, I don't really see any other like paint detail mishaps or anything like that. So I mean, the figure, besides that, the figure is like virtually, you know, perfect as far as the aesthetic goes. I don't see any like major paint mishaps. So I'm gonna go ahead and honestly give him, I'm gonna give him like a 9.9 out of 10. I'm gonna take off like a 0.1 just for that, you know, that a little bit of paint bleeding. I can't give him a perfect score, but I mean, he's like, it's damn near, it's like right there. Because other than that, he looks really, really good, like pretty much perfect. So 9.9 out of 10 for aesthetic. Now, is he accurate? Let's see. Again, I haven't played this game in years, so I've got to actually pull up some images here and do a reference. But as far as I can tell, you know, he matches the box art pretty well, so that's a good thing. Let's see if he. This is based on a game too, so you know, I have to keep that in mind. I can't necessarily base this on like a real person. I'm sure he's based off of like, you know, an actual actor or whatever, but design wise, I have to go, you know, solely based off of the game, because that is, you know, what this figure is based on. So let's see here. There's so many different images of him too, so it's kind of hard to, you know, find one in particular that I can like definitively say, oh, this is, you know, exactly what he should look like. But let's see. Let's try this one right here. I think this is a pretty good one. Got a Wikipedia image. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna pull this image in real quick. So let's see here. See if I can blow this image up. There we go. I don't know if it'll let me zoom in on it. I'm gonna try to zoom in. Okay, there we go. Oh, there goes my camera. My bad, guys. So yeah, here is Ezio Auditore. I think that's how you say his name. But this is how he looks on Wikipedia. This is like one of the probably most accurate images I could find on Wikipedia to the Brotherhood design. And I think it looks pretty good, honestly. I mean, so let's see, bringing the figure back in. I think it matches pretty well. Zoom out just a little bit. But yeah, I think this matches that artwork pretty well. All the red, all the paint seems to be in the right spots, the right color overall. Obviously, this is kind of like a lit up picture, so the colors would seem a little bit brighter than, you know, what's on the figure. But as far as like the overall placement of things and the paint scheme, yeah, I'd say everything's exactly where it should be. So you got the red right there up top by the collar, it's present on the figure, and then you can see inside the hood and everything. So I mean, yeah, honestly, I'd say he's pretty accurate. I can't really, it's hard to say about like the back, but this is just a front photo of him. As far as like front to back photo, I don't know if they have that. For the Power Rangers, you know, it's easy to find like a front, back, and side photo of them, but You know, for Ezio, might be a little more difficult. But based off of this photo right here, I'm gonna say that the figure itself looks pretty accurate. And the design team seems to have paid a lot of attention again to detail and sculpt on this guy. So, you know, I trust them that they got it right. So for accuracy, I'm gonna give him a 10 out of 10. I don't see any real issues. So we're gonna give him a 10 out of 10 for accuracy. All right. So there's a 10 out of 10. Now let's get into play and display, or the posability section. Well, actually, we'll do articulation first, and then we'll see just what poses he can actually hit. So we'll test the articulation first, because that makes more sense. So starting with the head articulation, he seems to be on like a ball peg, so he's able to look up about that far, which I think is pretty decent. It's not a whole lot of range, but he can definitely look up. Looking down, he can go down about that far, which is nice. And his face actually tucks in really nice to like that little gap where the collar separates right there. So it actually tucks in as you move it down, which looks really, really nice and seamless. So here's your profile look of him looking down. Here it is from the front. So you can definitely look down nicely. How about side to side? Oh yeah, he can rotate side to side really nice. And I actually wasn't expecting that, but the hooded piece is actually, you know, it's attached to the top of the head obviously, but as you rotate it, and it's kind of like a soft plastic, so it moves out the way. It comes over, you know, his chest, which is really nice. You can see that. And then as you move it back, it actually, these like little parts on the side right here, these soft parts actually tuck in to this part of the collar, you know, the part on his chest. They tuck in really nice as you rotate that. So they move out of the way when you need them to, and then when you turn them back, they actually tuck in nice to that little gap on the side. So that's really, really nice. Very well designed there. I think, let's see, can he rotate 360? Yeah, looks like he can turn his head all the way around. So you can get 360 rotation. And the joint, the ball peg itself feels nice and tight. His head doesn't feel like loose or wobbly, so that's really, really good. Nicely done there, NECA. Actually, for some reason, I was thinking that his head articulation was going to suffer a lot. I didn't think that he was going to get much range, but I was wrong, so I am pleasantly surprised. Moving to the arms, you can move the arm up and out to the side to at least a 90-degree angle, which is really, really nice. I like that. Achieves at a good 90-degree angle. Moving forward and back, seems like he actually has a butterfly joint, which I wasn't expecting. So you can see in there, you can actually see some of the internal engineering for the butterfly joint. And of course there's a ball peg with a hinge. So you can actually kind of swivel his arm forward and back a decent amount. And this little cape piece back here it's like a hard plastic, but it's also kind of soft, so it's pliable. You can move it out the way. So as you stretch his arm back, it's just gonna like push that back. And so you get a little bit of extra range going back. So front to back, there's like your side view to show that lateral motion. So I think that looks really, really nice. I think that works well enough, functionable. Moves down by his side. He's got a bicep swivel, and it's a really nice cut in there. It's very seamless, almost just looks like, you know, another layer of like wrapping of like, you know, just over the ball of the shoulders. So it's actually like very seamless, but you can see the bicep swivel is in there. So he has a very, very nice bicep swivel. Looks to be maybe a single jointed elbow. Let's see. I'm not sure if that's a double or a single, but whatever the case, it at least achieves that much range, which is a little shy of a 90, but that's kind of to be expected because he's got like this really big gauntlet piece, so you would expect that to kind of run into the sculpt early on. Not a big deal. He's able to at least get that 90-degree bend, extending back out and down. Is there any lower forearm swivel? Yeah, there actually is a forearm swivel in there, so that's really nice. So he actually gets a swivel at the gauntlet piece, like at the elbow. Get a forearm swivel in there. And then for the hands, let's see. Ooh, hands are on a hinge, and you can see they do pop out, right? Because you have those alternate hands. In case you want to see what that looks like when you take off these hands, there's actually like a little bit of a little ball peg that you can pop in and out. So I popped this one out. Let me go ahead and pop it back in. So yeah, there we go. It goes back and snaps back into place very nice and easy. And you've got a hinge. So the hands have a hinge, so you can hinge the hands. Looks to be a horizontal hinge, so you can bend it kind of in and out, like side to side type of movement. No vertical hinge, so it's not really made to go up and down, but you at least get that vertical hinge. And the hand itself rotates on that ball peg, so that's really good. All right. Can it go 360, the arm? Let's see. We can lift it forward, and it is gonna kind of run into this piece, which is like a harder piece. So just be careful. You probably don't want to flex that too much because this will probably bend over time if you keep pushing it. But if you kind of move the arm around that, you can kind of get it to rotate 360. It's gonna go at an angle again because it's also running into the sculpt right here up top over the shoulders. This kind of like triangle pattern. That's like a harder plastic as well, so you're gonna be kind of pushing past that. So it's not gonna go in like a straight line, but he can, if you maneuver it at an angle, he can get that 360 rotation in there. All right, for the torso, I see a cut for like a ab, like a ab joint, so, or like upper diaphragm joint, but I'm not sure if it's a ball peg. Let's see. So you can bend him forward from the top at least that much. You can bend them back that much, which is actually pretty good. I like that. More range than I was expecting. So that's pretty good. And you can see, and it doesn't look too gappy. It's actually like very nicely sculpted. So even when you bend him, he doesn't look all weird and gappy in there. Hasbro, take notes. All right, so there we go. Coming back to the front. Does he get any upper rotation? Yes, he does. And it is kind of stiff, so be careful as you rotate, but he does. You can hear all that, clicking as I rotate him. The plastic, you definitely don't want to strain the plastic too much, but he does get a upper twist in the torso. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any lower waist articulation than that, just because all this, sculpting is here. Or if he does, it's well hidden because you got all this stuff in the way, so you really can't see what's going on in there. But let's see, any leaning, any side to side leaning? Not really. Not much side to side. Like virtually none. As far as the legs, we can lift this part up. It's a pretty soft plastic for this drape that comes down. You can lift the legs forward for a kick. Let's see. About, it's a little shy of 90. Not great, but it's all right. It's a little shy of 90. Coming back down, let's see, does he have a thigh swivel in here? Yes, he does actually have a thigh swivel up top, so you can rotate the thigh. Looks like double jointed knees. You can see the pins. You got double joints in the knees. Let's see how well that bends. Moving all the drapes out of the way in the back. He's able to bend pretty nicely, about the same as like a Marvel Legends figure. So he gets almost up to his lower back, so that's pretty good. Back down. The foots are on a hinge. Well, actually, let's do out to the side real quick. Let's see how far. Oh wow, he can actually get really, really far out to the side. So it looks like he can do an assassin split. So that's pretty good. He actually has better range going out to the side than kicking forward, which you don't see in a lot of figures. At least not a lot of the figures that I've reviewed. But yeah, he actually gets a really, really, really nice split, so that's good. Assassin split, all right. For the feet, or the boots, they are on a hinge, so you can hinge down all the way to the tippy toes. You can hinge up that far before it runs into the sculpt. Let's see, let me move this leg out the way, get a better sense of that. You can hinge up about that far. And then he does also have toe articulation, so you can hinge the front of the boot up that much, and then back down to a flat position like that. So yeah, I'd say overall that's pretty decent articulation actually, especially for a NECA figure. I know they don't focus on articulation as much as detail and sculpt, like I said, but I think that's actually a pretty good spread of articulation. I think that's more than I was expecting. So definitely on par with like your Marvel Legends figures, and you know, at the very least, and probably McFarlane, maybe even better than the McFarlane. So I like that a lot. I think that's a pretty good overall range of articulation. So for articulation, I'm gonna go ahead and give him, I'm gonna give him like an 8 out of 10. I would want to see a little bit more range in things like the leaning side to side in the torso and the kicking forward for the legs. So I'm gonna take off a few points for that. But then again, this is NECA, so you know, I'm trying to be generous. But no, I think overall they actually did a really decent job, really solid job for the articulation, considering that he's more focused, you know, in the sculpt. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a solid 8 out of 10 for articulation. I think that's fair. And then posability, let's see if he can actually strike any cool poses. So let's see. I'm gonna put, we'll just leave the weapons aside for now. I'm not gonna, you know, mess around with the weapons too much. I'm just gonna see if I can get him in any cool no weapons poses real quick. Assassin-like poses. So let's see. Gonna turn the head down. Ooh. Heard a little click there, a little snap. Let's see. So let's see. I'm trying to get him into a kind of like jumping, attacking pose. So I'm gonna raise the leg as high as I can right on this side. Have this other leg like that. Just have him kind of like he's jumping and attacking at somebody like that. Like, whoosh. So I think that looks pretty cool. It's a nice little stance, or like aerial attack stance. I think that looks pretty cool. Let's see what else we can make him do. This probably looks awkward without any weapons in his hand, but matter of fact, yeah, let me switch out one of the hands so I can actually, so he doesn't look so awkward as I pose him. So I'm gonna take out the right hand. Oh, this one actually came out without the little cloth piece that goes around his wrist. This one actually stayed in, so I just took out the hand. Let me see if I can get him with a grabbing hand for the sword. All right, so here we go. That one went in nice. Let's see if I can fit the sword in here. Oh yeah, that's a nice fit. Slid in very nicely, and it's snug. Not loose in his hand. It's actually got a really good fit. So here he is with the sword in his hand. And that looks really nice. So let's see if we can get him into some cool poses with the sword. So maybe have him swing, swinging the sword back, raising his arm. And then, let's see here. Bring this arm kind of forward like he's doing a block or something. And give him a wider stance for the legs. Like he's in a battle stance or maybe crouching a little bit. Let's see here. Oh yeah, and he does also have a boot swivel. Forgot to mention that. I didn't even notice until right now. He's got a boot swivel as well, so that's cool. More in the articulation section. His boots, unfortunately, do not swivel. Well, they swivel a little bit. He's got like a very slight ankle rocker. I forgot to factor that in. He's got a very minimal ankle rocker, but there is a little something there, so you got that as well for the articulation section. As far as like my score, I mean, I'd say it still remains about at 8. Because I would still want to see those other points that I mentioned, but I think at 8, even with those new things factored in, I think 8 is still a good score. Let's see. A little hard to pose like the legs, but especially because he has like the robe in the way, so it's hard to see what you're doing until you lift it up. But I'd say he's decently posable, and if I spend some more time with him, I could probably get him into like a really cool dynamic pose. But I don't want to spend too much time. But I mean, just like this, he's not even like flat-footed right now. He's kind of like just on his heels or like on the side of his feet. But I think that actually looks really cool in itself, just that stance right there. So yeah, for posability, I'm in a generous mood, so I'm gonna give him, and this being my first NECA figure, and I really, really do like it so far, so I'm gonna go ahead and give the posability, I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it a good 8 out of 10. I know that he is somewhat limited and he's gonna be kind of stiff when you're trying to achieve certain things, especially in the legs, but I think an 8 will be good for the posability score. So he's gonna get an 8 for posability. For the capability, I don't know if I can really, because he doesn't really have a cape. As I'm looking at this outfit, I thought this kind of was a cape at first, but looking at it more, it just seems like a kind of robe. It's just a part of his robe. It's more like a drape type of thing. I don't know the exact name for this outfit. I'm sure somebody knows. Somebody out there can comment below. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure what you call this, but it's a really cool, I just call it an assassin's outfit, assassin suit or something. But as far as the cape, I don't think he really has a cape, so I'm not gonna factor that into his rating. This I don't think this really counts as like a cape. I mean, maybe, but I mean, even if you did count it as a cape, I mean, it's like a hard sculpt cape, and it's very similar to like that Black Adam figure. You can't really, it's not really meant to do much. You can't flare it out. It's just a sculpted piece of plastic with a shape to it already. So I'm not even gonna factor it in. I don't count that as a cape. So for cape, we're not gonna count that today. So we're gonna skip the capability on this guy and go straight to the price point. Now, from what I saw online, retail, when I got him at Target, I want to say I got him for just a little over 30 after like tax and everything, maybe, I don't know, 30, 33, 35. And I think I was more than comfortable paying that, because I know this is a NECA figure. You compare that with Marvel Legends that barely give you anything, and reusing sculpts and all that stuff, and they still charge you like $30, $35, after tax and all that. So I think this guy was well worth the price. And then when I was looking online, I seemed to see him at $27.99 to about $30-ish, pretty much everywhere I looked. So like Amazon, GameStop, I'm sure eBay and like the other aftermarket prices, I'm sure they jacked his prices up. I'm sure he's a lot more expensive on those sites, but seems like as far as like the actual retail, he places like Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon and trusted websites, they seem to have them for like around 28 to 30-ish dollars, which I think is a more than reasonable price. You compare that again with Marvel Legends, and NECA is obviously giving you a lot more. The paint and detail is way more than what you would typically get on a Marvel Legends figure. So yeah, I mean, it's, if anything, like the only products that Hasbro makes that would probably be comparable to like a NECA figure like this would be like the G.I. Joe lines and maybe some of the Black series, as far as like the paint and what they're capable of, the accessories that they put in. But I mean, this is a NECA figure, so this is like top of the line stuff. So even then, I think that $30-ish, I think that's a really good, decent price to pay for this guy. So for retail of around, like, again, $27.99 to $30-ish bucks, I'm gonna give this guy, honestly, I'm gonna give him $30. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a 10 out of 10, because you gotta realize that this is an adult collectible, and it is really hard to find cheap adult collectibles these days. A lot of the really good adult collectible stuff is import, and you guys already know, if you've been collecting, just how high those prices can be. So with the market and everything right now, this guy being only 30 bucks, yeah, I'd say he gets a easy 10 out of 10 for the price point. So now we've got to go ahead and total up all of the all of the scores here, so we can give him a final score out of. Today's going to be out of 60 instead of 70 because we're not counting the capability section. All right, so we have we got 9.9 plus an 8 plus a 9 plus a 10 plus an 8 plus a 10. All right, so we have 17, 18. So we got 35 plus 10, we got 45 plus 9.9. So we got basically 55. Was that a 55.9 or a 56? Let's see. Make sure I totaled that up correctly. So let's see. Total this up. Make sure my math is right. We got a 54.9 out of 60 as our total score. So there you go. So this guy does very well. So let's see. What is that in a percentage? That is a 91. So 91%. All right, so he does very, very good on the clean figurine scale. So his final score again is a 54.9 out of 60, which is a 91%. So I think that's really, really good for our first NECA figure that we've ever reviewed. He gets a solid A score, and I like that for this guy because he definitely caught my attention in the store, and I was like, I gotta grab him because, again, as far as I could see, he was the only one on the shelf, and I just couldn't pass him up, especially being that he was around $30-ish, a little over 30 bucks. I was like, man, the paint and detail, accessories and things that come with him, way, way better than your standard Marvel Legends, which cost like around the same price. So for sure I had to grab this guy. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it as far as like all his ratings. So last thing we will do is end this with the size comparisons, of course, and we will head out. So I'm gonna leave the sword in his hand because I really like how it looks with him. But I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna actually have him kind of hold his sword like that, yeah, as he stands up for these size comparisons here. So moving him back and put him right here. Make sure he can stand. Good. Okay, there we go. All right, so there is Ezio Auditore. Hopefully I'm saying that name right. There is our Assassin's Creed Brotherhood figure. And there are different versions of him out there, of course. There's like different, based on the different games. There's an Assassin's Creed Revelations Ezio figure, where he's got like the darker, I think like almost black, like almost all black outfit, black and red instead of the white or gray, which is a really cool look as well. But this one will always be classic for me. This is like the first look I ever saw him in, so I really like this look. But yeah, they have like, of course, the different versions for the different games out there, so be sure to look out for those. I saw some on Big Bad Toy Store. I think they have the Revelations figure if you want to check that out. I'll try to leave a link in the description. But here is Mafex in-game Thor next to him. And for another Mafex, we'll get the Mafex Episode 3 Darth Vader. Once I fix his legs here, 1 second. Make sure he can stand up. Hold on, adjust the legs. Okay, there we go. Mafex Episode 3 Darth Vader on his other side, and you can see He actually scales pretty well in the camera. It might seem like Vader's taller than him, but Ezio is actually, believe it or not, taller, a little bit taller than Vader here to the top of the head or hood. And then the Mafex Thor is obviously quite a bit smaller. So yeah, as far as mixing him with like Mafex or Marvel Legends, probably not going to work because NECA is a 7-inch scale line, very similar to McFarlane toys. So if anything, he's gonna probably fit in best with the McFarlanes. So there is your first look. For size comparisons, for some Hasbro stuff, we'll bring in the Lightning Collection Dino Thunder Yellow Ranger right here, and the Dino Thunder Blue Ranger on his other side. And as you can see, Yellow Ranger is of course much shorter than him. The Blue Ranger in the camera, he probably looks like he's pretty close in height, but he's actually significantly shorter than Ezio here. Ezio actually has quite a bit of height, like I would say at least a half inch or inch of height over him. So there is that comparison. For your Black Series, you have the Count Dooku. Black Series Count Dooku figure right here. And on the other side, we have the Black Series Duels End Darth Vader figure that we just reviewed on his other side. And actually, the Vader figure actually scales pretty decently with Ezio. Ezio is still taller, a little bit taller, but not by too much. And in the camera, it probably looks like Vader's like at like the exact same height. I mean, I'd say he's got like maybe just like a 1/4 inch over Vader. So this Vader figure actually is kind of tall. It scales actually, you know, kind of okay with this Ezio. But yeah, so if you wanted to mix your, you know, universes, there you go. Count Dooku is quite a bit smaller, as you can see. But yeah, there you go. Moving them out of the way. Let's get in some SH figure arts. We've got the SHF Mass Rider Blade from Kamen Rider right here, and the Hurricane Red or Ninja Storm Red, also from SHF on his other side. Make him face a little more that way. There you go. And obviously they are significantly shorter. These are both about 5.5 inches compared to a 7-inch, so a good almost 2.5 inches over, or you know, at least, yeah, 1.5, whatever, inches over each of those guys. So there's your SHF comparisons. Let's bring in the ZD Toys in-game Thanos on this side. And for McFarlane Toys, we've got Raven, which is a figure that haven't seen in forever in these size comparisons, but here is Raven and your in-game Thanos. Let me see if I can zoom out a bit. Okay, yeah, there we go. Back the camera up just a bit here. There you go. Thanos is of course taller than each of them. He's about 8 inches in scale, so he's got a good inch over Ezio and Raven here. Raven here is pretty much the exact same height as Ezio. So, you know, this is being McFarlane Toys. Both of these lines are 7-inch lines, so they should scale, again, very well with each other. So there you go with that. Another McFarlane Toys, I'm gonna have to hold him, but we have the McFarlane Toys Black Adam, the Rock version of Black Adam, and then we have the Ocean Master figure on his other side right there. So there he is with the two of them, and I think they stack up pretty good. I'd say Ocean Master is actually a little bit taller than Ezio, and so is the Black Adam, just a little bit taller than Ezio as well. So there you have that. And last but not least, we will end it with the new Matt Murdock figure from Marvel Legends. Scoot this in a little bit closer. And then for, let's see, another Mafex, we have the Amazing Spider-Man. DX Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spidey on his other side. And yeah, you can see Ezio is definitely bigger than both of them. And scoop this in a little bit closer, hopefully you get a better sense of the heights. But yeah, Ezio is still definitely the biggest out of those two. And yeah, I think that will do it. Since we got two left, might as well. Here is for another like Marvel Legends-ish figure. We have the Amazing Spider-Man Walmart exclusive from the first movie. And on the other side, we have the Mafex Mark 45 Age of Ultron Iron Man. So there you go. Iron Man is pretty much the same height as Ezio. In the camera, Ezio probably looks shorter, but if anything, he might have like just a slight bit of height over the Iron Man figure. And then this guy, you can obviously see, is a lot much shorter than Ezio. So there it is. That is all your size comparisons. Wanted to show, you know, a little bit of all the lines that I've been collecting, so you can get a sense of how he scales with different lines, you know, Marvel Legends, SA Trigger Arts, Mafex, and McFarlane Toys. But yeah, that is gonna do it. It's gonna wrap it up for the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Ezio Auditore figure. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like on the video for your boy. Get the algorithm going. Recommend, share the video, you know, with friends and family or whoever that you know is into this kind of stuff. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching. Got some more videos coming very soon, right after this. So stay tuned, and remember, keep the action going. Have a great weekend. I'll see y'all later. It's your boy BioSpider 3.0. Peace.